Hello, beautiful beings. So, today I would like to talk about how we were entrained in a system that programs us to distrust our innocence. We were brought up and entrained in a system that programs us to distrust our innocence. I'll say that one more time. We were brought up and entrained in a system that programs us to distrust our innocence. Allow yourself to feel that might bring up rage. The rage of that point in time when we were in our innocence and we chose to trust that we shouldn't trust our innocence. So, what is innocence? Innocence is innocence, yeah? Innocence is the droplet of source. Source meaning that all oneness, where we're all knowing the oneness of the one. And in order to have an experience, it's shattered. In Hebrew, we call it tzimtzum, like we shrink and shatter into endless expressions of the one. And this droplet of source is innocence. It's the will to be an expression of love so deeply that we're willing to forget. We're willing to forget the all-knowingness and the innocence of the explorative playground of the unknown, to trust that we can dance as innocence, as specks of source, into the unknown, into eternity. And so innocence, the experience of innocence, yeah, it feels childlike, it feels curious, it feels maybe even wild, it feels courageous. And that experience of our innocence, the system many of us were born into, programmed us to not trust that experience. And so when we tap into that innocent essence of which we are, these programs come up from the mind, because we were born into a mind-based operating system. It operates through the mind, through the Maya. And so let's acknowledge what programs come up when we tap into the innocence, the vibrational state of innocence. What can happen, there could be an overwhelm, a freak out, rage, like, this is dangerous. This is irresponsible. This is illogical. This is unrealistic. Doesn't make sense. I don't understand. What happens is these programs that we gathered because of how the educational system was designed and religion and all types of things, we automatically have a self-attack happen. A self-attack that represses our innocence. For what? For survival. So acknowledging this, seeing it clearly, helps us see clearly. And what we see, it's kind of hard to unsee when you see it really clearly. So see this. See those programs that attack, self-attack, when you're embodying your innocence. And see that if you see them, they're not you. If you see something, that means you're the one seeing it. Meaning, if you're the one seeing it, then it's not you. You can't see yourself. The why behind why these programs were created, who created them, are less relevant. That's more junk food for the mind, which feeds the mind, which loops in understanding, trying to put the pieces together, trying to make it make sense, to have a sense of control. And so how can we feel more safe to embrace our innocence? There's also this whole thing in, I don't know, like psychology terms and spiritual ways, is like this wounded child. We see our innocence as this like wounded, weak child, the one that needs the adult to take care. And I strongly disagree. I strongly disagree. What I've experienced with myself and people who I work with is that when we tend to that innocent part of us, that part of us, of our innocence, has all the wisdom that we need. That child inside us, before all the programming of the mind, all the brainwash, that is our teacher. And if we don't honor our innocence as our teacher, then we'll be forever hungry, looking for guidance outside us. Answers outside us, feeding our soul to other programs outside ourselves, coming outside ourselves as disembodied zombies. Can you trust our innocence and honor our innocence? Reclaim the authority of our innocence over our lives. And can we do this not only for ourselves, but for the well-being of all? What I was shown about this whole child trafficking thing in many dreams is that it's a reflection of our own innocence being trafficked by a mind-based system. So we can go into powerlessness. Oh, I don't know how to help. I don't know how to affect the system. I can barely manage my day. What if it was simple as that? Of you honoring your innocent nature, reclaiming, clearing up how you saw yourself as a child and being like, oh, how about you lead my life, child? And like, I'm so grateful to see that more and more parents of the current generations are allowing their children to lead more. Those children, these children that are coming through are phenomenal leaders. So can we do that for our own inner child? Not see them as a weak, wounded mess? The child was never messed up. It was the system that was repressing the child. What does that bring up? Rage? Oh, rage is so dangerous. Anger is so dangerous. No. Core rage, your core energy, when it's been repressed for so long, expresses itself as rage. It's your root energy coming alive, shattering, transforming, transmuting all of these programs. And yes, it can feel destructive. Fire does destruct. But we love fire, don't we? It brings in a warmth and a light, a spark, a renewal, a passion for life that we are naturally. We don't need to figure out what our life purpose is. We don't need to write a business plan. We become the desire, the purpose, the passion of creation in physical form. And when we're in that, it is undeniable that we are resourced and we have everything we need at all times and beyond. So, inviting you today to replace how you see your innocence. There are many ways to do this, through visualization, through acknowledgement, through journaling. When I first started doing this, I bought a doll this big in a toy store, and I just started asking the doll what I should do with my life. And that doll, moment by moment, led me to leave optometry school and take an improv class and join an improv crew and move cities and go to acting school. And like, I lived a whole new trajectory that I'm still living because of this little doll that I could refer to that reminded me of my innocence. So maybe for you, it's a G.I. Joe, or I don't know. I'd like to just sit here in my innocence with you. And as we sit here for a moment, exploring what if we just be in permission of our innocence, those parts of us that we said no to because of this mind-based system that promises delusional safety. It's not really safe. How can we be safe if we're not allowing ourselves to be ourselves? Like, how can we be safe if we're not in truth of the nature of our soul and our innocence? That's delusional safety, and therefore we'll always have a signal that we're unsafe. Our body will be like, unsafe, unsafe, unsafe. And it's like, what? I'm doing all the things to be safe. But we'll forever feel unsafe if we're feeding a mind-based system. And so it could feel destructive. And now can we be together, embodying our innocence, which is giving a signal to our body that we are beyond safe. Haras in ayakianayat amharaya. Harak yana ya 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 ya. Ramaya satatamhaya ai yeah 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 yeah. Allow your innocence to replenish you, to nourish you, to fuel you, to heal your body. See the value in giving up the benefits of a mind-based system that promises superficial safety. Allow yourself to see the value in giving that up and beginning to naturally become the fountain of your primary water. Could feel like you're losing control, which you are. What if you don't need to be in control? What if that release of control actually opens your wings? So, thank you for meeting me here. And if this resonates, then I'd love to know that it did. So a like, a subscription, a comment really inspires my innocence to continue expressing itself and sharing. Yeah, and check out the description where there are ways to connect. Some meditations available for free, and I'd love to continue resonating and harmonizing in these ways. Thank you. Thank you for being.